Well, good evening. I'm Martin Tyner with the Southwest Wildlife Foundation, and I've got two of my beautiful young ladies with me. The one flapping her wings is Helen, our Peregrine Falcon and wildlife ambassador, and the one next to me is my beautiful sweet wife Susan.
Hello,
And
it's Cody.
and then we have Cody next to Susan, and we've come to say thank you to everyone. Um, Today is Susan's birthday, her actual birthday, and she is 29 one more time. Is that right?
Well, I figured I was 102 years younger than you.
102 years younger than me. There you go, at least. And so we've had a fundraiser to raise money for our new facilities.
Thank you, Jane.
At the Enoch Wildlife Rescue Facilities, and we're going to put a storage shed on the property so we can start moving all of our tools and equipment and things um, over to the new property, and so we've been very grateful for everybody's help and kindness and generous donations to help us with that, and actually we just came to say hi and visit with you, and so if you've got questions, please feel free, and but mostly just thank you.
Yes, thank you. Cody's been over here touching my arm, trying to get me to pet him some more.
Yes.
Time I stop.
I got a question.
Sure.
What are you gonna do with all that dough?
Well, we've got a lot of things to do. We certainly, like I said, the next thing is we're ordering a storage shed to house all of our tools and equipment and maintenance equipment for our new facilities. And it's we can't move anything over there till we've got the shed. So that's kind of first on the priority list.
Thank you, Colleen.
And this is our new facility that we're building out there. And at this moment, let me tell you where we're at. We have got the property completely fenced, and so the security's there. We have now ordered the center section to this building from OC Builders.
Can you hold it?
Oh, it's okay, I've got it, sweetie. From OC Builders. Let me get out of your face. There we go. And so the center section has been ordered. It will be delivered probably sometime around the end of April, first part of May, and we'll start getting that construction. And we've also contracted with an engineering company here in town, Watson Engineering. And when the weather gets a little bit better, they'll go out and do the soils test and do the engineering for the footings for the building. And so by the time the building gets here, we'll be really ready to start putting the things up. And so we have put out deposits and we spent quite a bit of money, but we're very excited because we certainly have enough to build the Eagle flight chambers, and maybe enough to build quite a bit more of this whole facility.
This big centerpiece is going to be the Eagle Flight Chamber, but I'm hoping we have enough to keep building on and go further. See how far the money takes us.
Yeah, it's just a matter of inflation is terrible and how things go. So we're extremely excited.
So everybody's been so kind. We just want to say you guys have sent us kind messages and cards and all kinds of things, and we just really appreciate y'all.
Yeah, I'm not one that usually celebrates my birthday, but since you guys have gotten involved, just tremendously kind letters and cards and gifts, and my goodness sakes, I'm not used to that. So thank you. It means a lot.
Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, we're here to answer your questions. So
We've got a comment from KMM. The world needs more people like you too.
Thank you, KMM.
well, and that's so very kind. But like I said, we just care for critters, and so
Yes.
hi, Cody.
Am I not patting you? Did I stop?
Yes, Cody's being spoiled.
Teresa
What do you-
asks, would you like some bird feeders for the new property?
We actually have some.
Yes.
And so we'll just hold on to the extras that we have. Yes, Cody.
Yeah, we've like I said, right now the big thing is getting
You're
everything
too far away, Cody.
moved over to the new property. Um, we have got
That's okay.
we're going to be planting a lot of trees and a lot of shrubbery on the property this coming spring, and we are very grateful to Findlay Subaru and Dave Gorley, who's the general manager, because they've donated the funding to pay for all of the trees and the shrubbery that we're going to border the property with. So we'll have a whole bunch of trees and stuff up there for to help give shade and habitats to the animals. So we're excited to get that going.
Colleen asks, how are the critters doing?
You know, the critters are doing very, very well. There are some kind of weird issues this year. Probably the biggest concern is that a year ago in October, we had a devastating disease come through the area called hemorrhagic rabbit disease, and it literally wiped out all of the jackrabbits and many of the cottontail rabbits in the area, which is a major food source for all of the apex predators. And so this last year we didn't have as successful a breeding season because the food wasn't available to them, and it's still not available to them. So it's been a little bit slow, um, but you know we're on call. I did, for everybody's information, I did pick up a barn owl that was hit by a car today, and it is it's still very much unconscious. We've got it treated. We've got it in the house downstairs in our little triage room that we have here at our home, and I've been checking on it every few minutes, and it hasn't come out of its stupor yet, and when it's in that kind of condition, it's really hard to say if it's going to survive or not. But right now, we're just trying to see if we can get it out of the coma that it's currently in.
Let it rest until it's healed enough to hopefully wake up.
Yes, and so that's this time of year. That's mostly what we get is animals being hit by cars.
And how are the wildlife ambassadors doing?
The wildlife ambassadors are doing wonderfully. Both Helen and Belle, the Harris hawk, uh, are doing well. It's been cold. It's been snowy. We had a high winds for the last 2 days, winds exceeding 50 miles an hour, and snow blowing sideways. And so it getting up in the morning, it's been down to 2 degrees above zero. I think yesterday morning, I mean this morning, yeah, yesterday morning, this morning it was when we got up, it was 14. So it is cold. It is snowy. These guys do stay in the house when it's that cold until it warms up a little bit, and then we put them back out. Scout, the golden eagle, is doing wonderful. He loves the cold. So it could be 10, 20 below zero, and he's just happy as can be. So he loves the cold weather, but especially the Harris hawk, Belle, doesn't like the cold, and so we make sure that they get cared for and pampered and stay inside where it's warm.
Does Scout
So
does Scout still take his bath when it's that cold?
he does. He does. He loves his bath, and so he did that today. We basically pulled his water pan out and dumped the ice off of it and poured fresh water in. And as soon as the fresh water was in, he jumped into his bath. He just, like I said, he just loves the cold. He just thinks that's wonderful.
How does he handle that? It doesn't affect him, that cold of water and the cold outside.
Well, again, they're kind of built for that kind of cold. It's really the heat that is super hard on the eagles, and so this kind of weather really isn't bad for them at all. Um, if there's no food available for the wild eagles, then we have issues because they, they're even more likely to be feeding on roadkill because there's no, rabbits or things around, and so it's hard on them because of the lack of food. But for the eagles, um, like I said, 0, 510 below, 510 above. That's great. They just think that's great. But if it's above 70, we have to watch them carefully and make sure they don't overheat.
So is it just a timing issue? I mean, are there ways that the cold could affect eagles?
Well, the cold will affect everything if they are in low condition, if they're starving, and if they don't have the energy necessary to produce the heat in their bodies to keep them warm, then the cold becomes an issue. But as long as they're able to feed well, and so right now, because of the real lack of rabbits here in southern Utah, I've seen very, very few eagles. Usually I see 10, 15, 20 a day. And I think I've seen 2 bald eagles in the last 30 days. So they haven't been in the area because there's no food. So they're out looking for food somewhere else.
Well, we got
fishing, huh?
got all kinds of comments coming in, all about happy birthday from M and from Leticia. We've got one from Travis and one from C. Horton. Really wishing Susan a happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that it's her birthday, and she has in February is our anniversary, and we've been married almost 43 years.
We've been married 43 years,
Yeah.
so we'll be going on 44.
45, 44. So she's put up with me for so long. I don't know why.
So you guys are so close together. Are you the same astrological symbol too?
Yep.
Yep.
So
Sagittarius. Us.
Was that part of the deal as far as looking for a spouse? You
No,
wanted
there
to-
was actually only one major requirement that Susan had, and that she would not marry anyone that didn't provide her with a house so that she could have her dog.
Yeah, that's what I told my mom because I had a big old collie lab mix got for my 12th birthday, and I went away to college and left him home for a bit, and my mom kept trying to tell me, well, you're not going to find somebody that can provide you with the house to take your dog. I says, well, then I won't marry him. My mom was sure to tell Martin that. I don't think Martin passed her.
No, but I promised her a house, and so the day that we were married, escrow closed on her first house that we bought in California before we moved to Utah.
So, yeah.
So I promised her a house, and she's had a house our entire marriage,
and a dog,
and a dog.
at least one.
So what's one of your favorite Peregrine Falcon stories in honor of Helen?
Favorite Peregrine Falcon stories. I had a female peregrine, a Nottingham peregrine, just like Helen, because she's in a Nottingham peregrine. And this peregrine falcon had a major flaw. Now, she flew wonderful, and she was a really nice bird to work with, but she had this death wish to attack eagles. And so I could take this peregrine out, and if there was an eagle flying anywhere, she would go after the eagle. And what peregrines do quite frequently is they'll go in from high elevation, they'll go into this steep dive, and instead of just hitting what it is at 200 miles an hour and killing it, what they will do is they'll go down past and then pull up and come from underneath. And this peregrine falcon used to do that with golden eagles. She would go nice and high. She would dive beautifully, and then she would go down below the eagle and come right up into its feet. And I don't know why she wasn't killed. There was one time when she got in a fight with 2 eagles on the ground, and the eagles had her cornered. She was basically under a big piece of sagebrush, and she was right in the middle of it, and the eagles were on either side of the sagebrush trying to push her out so that they could catch and kill her and eat her. And I was fortunately able to get there quick enough to chase the eagles away. And then she was hiding in the bush, and she was really, really scared that she was going to get killed and eaten. But the very next day, she went and attacked another eagle. So she just wouldn't learn to leave eagles alone, because that's golden eagles especially are very, very well known for killing large falcons and eating them. In fact, one of my students last month called me on the phone, and his falcon, which is a little bit bigger than Helen here, and his falcon was caught by a golden eagle and killed and eaten. He was able to track it down with the transmitter and find it, but it was dead and mostly eaten. So eagles, eagles are truly the lion of the sky. They're basically eagles, and everything else is what eagles eat.
Well, I guess they're all hungry now.
They are all hungry now, yes, because there's so few rabbits out there.
Colleen asks, what is your favorite scout story?
My favorite scout story. I'll tell you one that I don't normally tell very often. Scout is my best friend, and he and I get along wonderfully together, and he's very easy to manage and easy to handle.
We thought Susan was your best friend.
Well, my best bird friend.
A couple of best friends.
and
I'm not complaining if the scout and
so one day we had some photographer come out and wanted to take some pictures of Scout flying, and this was a lady photographer, and I said, well, that's fine. I would ask that you please make a donation to our foundation to help pay for the care for the animals, for which she made a small donation, which is fine. And so we went out on the desert, and as soon as I got Scout out, this is a person that has no animal sense whatsoever. She had very loud body language. She was moving her arms, moving her body. She wasn't calm. She was very jittery, and animals don't like that as it is. She dropped her equipment. She got way too close to the bird. She got her camera in the bird's face, which is really ridiculous, because you have these nice cameras with these great lenses, and you don't have to have a camera right here in the bird's face. You just don't need to do that. And she just really had bad manners when it comes to animals. And in the process of doing that, I flew Scout, and I called him in, and she got the photographs that she wanted, and everything's okay. Scout was very, very agitated from that whole experience. It really bugged him quite a bit. And, I was glad that it was over, and we went home, and everything was fine. The next day, I had another photographer that wanted to take pictures of him. And so this second photographer was a man. And, it was cold, and it was snowy on the ground, and all of that kind of stuff. And he wanted the same thing. He wanted to get some flight photographs of Scout. And so I thought that would be just fine. His personality was much, much better. This gal just really ticked off Scout. Her mannerisms and everything just really bugged him. Well, we put Scout up, and he flew around, and the guy was taking some pictures, and he wanted to get a picture of Scout flying just over his head. And so I stood behind him, and I called him back to me. And as Scout was coming toward me, all of a sudden, Scout dove down and grabbed this guy in the head. He was wearing a heavy coat and a hood and a hat and all of that kind of stuff, but grabbed the guy in the head, and then Scout fell onto the ground, and I got there. I was only like 10 feet away, and I got there, and I got Scout, and Scout was really, I've never seen Scout so angry, and he wanted to kill this guy. And it wasn't that guy's fault. It was the woman photographer that ticked him off the day before. And he just wasn't going to tolerate strangers in his field ever again.
He doesn't like me and too close either. That's why he's not sitting here with us. It's like, nope, if I'm here, that's too close for Scout.
So basically, people ask about going out with Scout, and I tell them up front. I said, Scout's really good with me, but he really is not safe to fly him in the field where there are strangers in the field. So we won't fly him for photo shoots. We can do photo shoots, raise on my glove, and take pictures, and that's fine. But we won't fly him for photo shoots because, the one thing about an eagle, which is different than a lot of the other birds of prey, is eagles have a much higher degree of intelligence, and just like an elephant, they never forget. And so if Scout likes you, that's wonderful. But if you ever offend him, we will remember that. And so this gal offended him, and so now he just doesn't like strangers in his field.
Why is it the field is so distinct from all the wildlife presentations?
Because when he's out in the field, he's hunting, and that's his territory, and he's motivated by food, which puts him in a killing mood anyway. And so when we're doing the shows, it's a completely different environment, and he's not defending his territory. The only thing he would have to defend is me, and he won't defend me. My job is to defend him, and so he doesn't see people at the programs that we do as a threat, but he does see them as a threat to his food source when he's out hunting.
So Salty asks, is Scout heavy to hold?
Yes, he is. He weighs about 8 pounds, and so you take an 8-pound bowling ball, hold it in your hand like this, and walk around for about 2 hours, and you will find out truly how heavy he is. And then imagine that 8-pound bowling ball moves around, and you have to keep shifting to keep the balance proper. So it really does wear you out.
Okay. Carol asks, do you know the origin of the rabbit disease? Can it be rectified so more rabbits are produced?
I understood that it came from Europe. It's highly, highly contagious. It is so contagious that if you walk through a field where there is an infected rabbit, and then you don't clean off your boots and sterilize your boots, and you walk into a different field, you will have spread the virus. So it spreads that quickly and that easily, and so it is one of those things that we can't stop it. The rabbits out in the wild, there's no way to treat it, and so it's one of those things that we have to basically let it run its course. The rabbits that survive it will be kind of genetically predispositioned to survive it, and their offspring will too. And so right now, with the rabbit population so terribly decimated by this disease, the best thing we can do is for like Helen and I to not go out and put any more stress on the rabbit population by allowing her to go hunt rabbits. We need to make sure that every rabbit that is alive today has the chance to raise young and to breed and to get the population built back up. And so it's a conservation effort that Helen and I Belle and I we go out and I'll let her chase pigeons, but we do our best not to put her in a situation where she can catch another rabbit, because we want to give the rabbits an opportunity to repopulate.
Some people have asked about raising rabbits, the wild rabbits, in captivity, but you've said that just doesn't work very well.
No, the wild jackrabbits and cottontails, they're not like our domestic rabbits, even though domestic rabbits originally came from wild rabbits many, many generations ago. But what actually happens is, and we had the situation with some of the young cottontails that we raised this year. Most of the cottontails we raised this year, by the time they're the right age to release, they are so spooky and they're so wild um, that in captivity they would be just awful and they'd kill themselves. We had one cottontail rabbit, that was actually relatively calm, and so that would have been a rabbit. But again, this would be a bit uncommon, but that would have been a rabbit that could have been kept in captivity and used for breeding in hopes that you continue to breed in that gentle disposition and quiet and calm disposition. And that's the way all of our domestic rabbits have been bred. Started off with the wild ones that had a calmer disposition. Those were kept in captivity. The really wild ones, they were either eaten or released back to the wild because they're not suitable to be in captivity. And so just to go out and collect 100 jackrabbits to raise them in captivity, you'd have basically 100 dead jackrabbits because they just don't do well in captivity.
You know, there was a program in the East where they were raising cottontail, but they have to be very careful to breed because there's an area where they were really, this particular type was endangered.
Right.
But also, the hemorrhagic rabbit disease affects domestic rabbits as well as the wild. So
It does.
it's
And that's where we think we got it from, was basically
domestic.
brought in with domestic rabbits. The first indication of the disease in Utah was in Kanab, and it was in a domestic rabbit. And then really within just a matter of 3 or 4 weeks, all of a sudden we started finding mass die-offs throughout southern Utah. And now I understand. I talked to some people up north, and they said that they had a mass die-off of rabbits up in northern Utah as well.
So we have a two-part comment here from KAM. It says, where I live in England, we have recently had a family of buzzards move in. They are a joy to see. And continues, the local gulls, we are near the coast, do not appreciate the buzzards, however.
Well, and that's very, very true. We have a lot of gulls that come through Utah because we have the Great Salt Lake, and they go up to the Great Salt Lake, come off the coast. And yeah, no, they certainly see these apex predator birds as a threat. And the buzzards, by definition, are broad-winged birds, broad-winged hawks. And so our red-tailed hawk is a buzzard, Swainson's hawk, ferruginous hawk. There's quite a few of them that are considered buzzard-type hawks. And the ravens go after them, the gulls go after them, even the small birds, the scrub jays and the starlings and the sparrows will go after them because they're not as agile. But if they do get caught by them, they get eaten. So, you kind of you risk your life by going after a predator.
Rez asks, can you kiss the cute bird for me?
Sure.
Colleen asks, what is your favorite Belle story?
Well, Belle, unfortunately, because she's mostly blind, she can't be flown.
This is Helen.
Belle.
Belle.
Sorry.
Sorry.
My favorite Belle story. Let me think.
She's the rabbit hunter.
She kills a lot of rabbits. That's why it's really sad that we can't take her out hunting, because she loves to hunt rabbits. It's her favorite thing in the world to do.
Helen, oh, pretty girl.
Belle is so good, and she is so predictable, and she's so loyal and so easy to work with that I don't have a lot of really weird experiences with her, because she is so good and dependable.
She talks to you every morning.
Well, she does. Every morning when
you gotta have routine.
Yeah, every morning when we get up, if she hears me moving around in the house, because it's cold, she doesn't sleep outside. She sleeps in a unfinished room in our basement, and so does Helen here. But she'll hear us move around, and she'll get a little bouncy, and she'll call, and I'll walk down and talk to her, and she has this very sweet little voice. and just has and she just likes to talk to me, and we visit a little bit. And then once the weather's a little bit warmer, then we put her outside. But
Pretty girl.
I've had some really wild experiences with Harris hawks and some of my other hawks, but Belle, like I said, is just
She's been pretty easy, pretty mellow.
yeah, just such a nice animal to work with. We've
I think
really
you were
loved her.
amazed that her first pigeon you put her up on, and we actually lucked out and got video of that. I think that was pretty amazing.
Yeah, if you go to our YouTube channel, we've got a video of Belle catching a pigeon, which she wasn't supposed to. I mean Helen, which she wasn't supposed to
There's
catch.
Belle.
Oh, it's Belle.
He's confused. That's because I confuse him.
Yes, she does.
Anybody
She started to correct me, and so I corrected myself, but I was right the first time. Anyway, we took Belle out. We turned her loose out in the Peregrine Gap, and let her work and it was a bad situation. It was a very bad situation. It was high winds, and in a canyon and high winds, and any other bird I would have never flown. But Belle, because she is so good, it was worth trying. And so we turned her loose, and she worked up the ledges up the canyon wall, and she got up about 3/4 of the way up the canyon walls, and I walked out further out away from the canyon walls, and I released a pigeon. Now, the pigeon, Helen, you're just being bouncy, sweetie. But the pigeon had all of the opportunities. The pigeon basically had every possibility of escape, and Belle had virtually no chance of catching this pigeon. And so when the pigeon was released, the pigeon was going up, Belle saw the pigeon and came after it. And by the time Belle had gotten to the pigeon was still 50 to 100 feet above her when she got to where the pigeon was. And so the pigeon could easily have just flown for home with no threat at all. And so the pigeon knew there was no threat. And so Belle basically had no way of catching that pigeon. She turned around, went back to the cliff face, and then soared the cliff face to get some more altitude from the lift of the wind blowing up the cliff. And so she soared back to the cliff face. She got some more altitude above the cliff, and the silly pigeon stayed there in the canyon and just circled around, believed that the hawk was no threat whatsoever. And then when Belle got her altitude, then she immediately flew out and caught the pigeon. And so that was, yes, you're getting your exercise, sweetie, huh?
So you could never get away with wearing a hairpiece with Helen around.
No,
You need the exercise, huh?
she does need the exercise. Like I said, she can't be allowed to fly. And so she does like to flap her wings when she's on my glove to get some exercise.
Yes.
It
Feels good. It's like
So anyway, to have Belle catch that pigeon, and we got it all on video, was absolutely amazing. And then she basically, because of the way the pigeon, she coasted back to the cliff face, and she landed about halfway up the cliffside. And so I had to climb up the cliff to get up to her and retrieve her with her pigeon. Otherwise, she just sat there and ate the pigeon. And again, they're motivated by food. So she would have just sat up there on the cliff face until the next day, till she was hungry again, before she'd come down. So I had to climb up the cliff face to get to her and the pigeon and bring them down.
So we got all kinds of comments pouring in. Alexandra says, "Happy birthday, Susan, and thank you so much for your time and dedication to wildlife."
Thank you.
We have Stefan. Good evening, everyone from Scotland. How cool is that?
Well, welcome.
Hello from Scotland.
And then DM said, "Hello, Scotland from Texas."
Cool.
So we got a party going on here in the comments.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Pixie says, "Hi from UK. Love your calm and loving nature. Your dedication to these beautiful animals is what we should be teaching children to strive for. Nature is everything. Thank you for everything that you do."
Oh, thank you so very, very much. And yes, and this is why I do so many children's programs with the animals, is to educate them. When I first moved to Utah, when I first moved here and offered my services as a federally licensed wildlife rehabber, I was getting a lot of animals brought to me. and I was getting about a dozen eagles a year shot that were coming into my rescue. And it wasn't that the people of Utah hated eagles, they just saw no value in them. And so 40 years of school programs and 40 years of scout programs and 40 years of community programs with my Golden Eagle Scout, I get a shot bird of prey of any kind less than one every few years. And the truth of the matter is, I can't do anything about these good old boys that have little to no respect for wildlife, but I can educate their children. And so that's been one of our major goals, is to provide these educational programs with these wildlife ambassadors, because if I can get people up close and personal with these animals when they get out into the wild habitats and they see these animals, they won't hurt them.
Is she looking at his bright orange toy on the floor?
Yeah, she was looking at his chew toy.
Is it bright and colorful, huh? You spotted something weird?
We got another message from AZ. Welcome from Greece as well. You are the best, bird lovers for life.
Oh, well,
Wow.
Thank you. My goodness sakes, we have you dear people from all over the world. It means so much to Susan and I that you're willing to check in with us. Your friendship means the world.
And we had a good night from Midnight Turkey.
Oh, cool.
Well, thank you, and welcome, Turkey. You know, I've always wanted to go to all of these places, but working with these animals, have been pretty much grounded right here in Utah, and
I think
poor Susan has never gone anywhere, and neither have
I
I.
think
Well,
I'm
you came to
dreaming.
Havasu.
Yeah,
We've been to Lake Havasu.
I'm dreaming
Arizona.
a little bit, knowing that this Eagle Flight and the rehab facilities and the vet clinic is all going to get built. We can start training a few good people, and maybe we can take a little vacation now and then in a few years from now, once we get some people trained.
This poor young lady, and you know why she puts up with me, I have no idea. But this sweet young lady, the only vacation we have ever had in our 43 years of marriage was our honeymoon. Otherwise, we've been tied down caring for animals, and she's put up with that. And so
You don't count a trip up after work to Orem, a 3-hour drive to visit our son overnight, have breakfast with him morning, and come home as a vacation.
That's not a vacation.
Maria says, watching from Mexico. Love your work.
Well, welcome, Mexico. Thank you so much.
Maria.
Yeah, Maria, that's wonderful.
And David says, tell Helen I said hi.
David Moore says hi. Just thought I'd let you know.
Okay, somebody asked recently, do owls and hawks get along?
No. Do owls and hawks get along? No, they do not. Basically, they will kill each other, whoever has the advantage. And so a good example is Belle here. I mean,
That's
Helen. Yes. Helen.
Maybe you should put a name badge on her.
Yeah, I got to put a name badge on me. But Helen, if she's flying at altitude, now of course she can't fly, but a peregrine falcon like her, if she's flying at altitude 1,000, 2,000 feet in the sky, and she sees a big, like a great horned owl flying along, and they don't fly at high altitudes, flying along, 20 feet off the ground, whatever, Helen will dive vertically at 200 miles an hour, hit that owl, and kill it. And then she'll fly down, pluck it, and eat it. Now, if there was a great horned owl flying along 20, 30 feet in the air, and Helen was on the ground eating a dead pigeon or pheasant or duck or whatever she's caught, and the owl sees her on the ground, the owl will fly in and grab her and kill her. So it depends on who has the advantage.
Well, it's a good thing that some are nocturnal and some are diurnal.
Yes.
Then they don't have that issues.
But just because owls are nocturnal doesn't mean they don't fly and hunt it in the daytime. So they can hunt it in daytime as well.
Oh yeah, somebody asked that once, why you don't release owls at night since they're night creatures.
Well, because their vision is perfectly fine in the daytime. The problem with them hunting in the daytime is owls fly very, very slow, and they have very soft feathers, and they require a stealth kind of a hunting procedure because they fly dead silent and very, very slow. and in the daytime they can be seen. And so in you know early morning at dawn and dusk, when the sun's going down, um, it does give them a significant advantage. And so this is why they fly at night. And so when you go to release them, we fed them up, they're nice and full, and they're not going to be hunting for at least 2 or 3 days because they've had so much food over the time that we've had them. They don't need to eat. And so it's just easier to release them in the daytime.
Usually towards the evening.
Yeah, usually either the mornings or the evenings, not in the middle of the day when it's hot.
Sybil says, "Happy birthday, Susan, and a very Merry Christmas to you both. Your work is so important to our wildlife. Thank you for all you do."
Well, thank you.
Thanks, Sybil.
And Jessica asks, "Is the live stream out of focus?"
I don't know.
You know, I don't know what it is not in good focus. I
Yeah,
do not know why.
maybe it's because of the
No, I
weird
think
lights.
I think it's just your house. Your house is out of focus.
Our house
Well,
is out of focus. Maybe it's
could
because
be.
of the lights on the tree. Wonder if I turn those off, it would adjust anything. But yeah, we're kind of blurry, kind of boring.
Stefan says, "Definitely owls and hawks don't get along. We have two, is that Eurasian eagle owls?
Eurasian
Eurasian,
eagle.
Eurasian, okay. And two red-tailed hawks. They have to be kept very separate."
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They will definitely kill each other. And I tell people all the time with my 3 wildlife ambassadors, Helen, Belle, and Scout. People ask, do they get along? And it says no. And it says my hawk and falcon would kill each other, and my eagle would find them both delicious. And so, yeah, these are apex predators. They do need to be kept separate. They don't get along.
Yeah, I bet it's something to do with the lighting and the white walls and everything
I
behind
bet
us.
it is. It's just
Sorry
not
about
focusing well.
that.
Okay,
I said, let's put it on the Christmas tree.
Elizabeth says, "I'm pretty local, as a matter of fact, one state over in Nevada, and feel left out. I love your YouTube channel and the work you both do. I believe your org needs to be highlighted to the public."
Well, thank you, Elizabeth, and welcome from Nevada. I actually get to Nevada and do my wildlife programs. So keep track of us. I don't have any programs booked at the moment in Nevada, but we do get there quite often.
CB asks, "Why do owls strike bald eagles at night? Do they want the nest?"
Well, basically, the reason owls do anything at night is because they have the advantage. Your eagles and hawks and falcons have very poor night vision, and so an eagle is almost blind at night. It's just you couldn't hunt, you can't see well enough, but that's where the owls have all of the advantage, and so they can get away with it.
Eva says, "Happy birthday. Love all you do for wildlife and birds. Keep up the great work. Merry Christmas from Ohio."
Well, thank you and welcome to
Oops.
our little chat.
And KM says, "Lens might simply need a clean," but that's your laptop, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
that's
a
my
laptop.
laptop.
Got a thumbprint on the laptop?
I don't think so.
And didn't we have like a better camera that you should be using anyway?
I
Yeah.
bet it's the lighting or the white walls or something. Or
Yeah, we do have
Sorry.
another camera, but the last several times we've used just the camera on the computer and it's worked fine. So I think it's just the room lighting it's just not focusing properly.
Yeah, we're more about critters than tech anyway, so
We do, yeah. I'm really good with things that fly, and the only time my computer flies is when I get frustrated, and it doesn't fly very well.
So Ashley asks, "Martin, how is your vision now after both eyes have had surgery?"
My vision is much better. My distance vision is 20/20, which is absolutely wonderful. The lenses I got are kind of depth of focus lenses. So my vision is good up to about a foot and a half, 2 feet. Once I get to about here, then I things start to get a little blurry, and so for up close technical work and sitting down to read a book, I still have readers. But other than that, my vision's great, and it's so wonderful to be able to see the birds fly, at the appropriate distances now. That's wonderful.
And we got another birthday person. Ethel, happy birthday to you. Mine tomorrow.
Oh. Well, happy birthday, Ethel.
Happy birthday, Ethel. Hope you
Ethel
have
Wing.
a good day. Ethel Wing?
Yeah.
Good name. See, you can even
Good
read
name.
that now. You couldn't
I
read
can.
anything before your surgery.
Yeah, I wouldn't know if the computer was blurry or not before my surgery.
FR says, thank you for your very mind-stimulating teachings, which I frequently follow from Paris, France, out of appreciation for your way of teaching.
Oh, well, thank you. You know, when you love what you do, you love to share, and that's what my teaching has been, is just sharing my passion for wildlife and our environment, and trying to get people to have as much passion for it as I do.
So this is something we talked about before. 721 asks, are we not able to donate through this channel?
Well,
Not tonight.
well, not tonight. What we did tonight, to be honest with you, we just
Wanted to say
yeah
thank you.
we wanted this particular podcast, and you go to the website and donate if you like, and that's wonderful. And we are grateful for every donation we get. It means the world to us. But I didn't want to set this up as a fundraiser to thank you for the fundraiser that we just did for our birthday fundraiser.
You guys have helped us raise a lot of money, and it's been awesome. Thank you so much.
And so this was not meant to be a fundraiser as much as it was just for us to talk and to let all of you know how grateful we are for everything that you've done for us. It means the world.
And plus, you already got like more than the fundraiser asked for.
Yeah.
We did.
Way more.
We were raising $10,000 for the new utility shed for the out on the new property, and we have exceeded that, and
The plumbing and the drip line and the trees.
yeah, and so anything above and beyond that goes, maybe not to the shed, but definitely goes to the building of this facility. And so, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we have raised hundreds of thousands of dollars. But we're very excited that this is my dream that I've had for 50 years, and it's coming true. And we're grateful for everybody for helping us.
Because we passed our goal a few days ago, so I almost wanted to title this one called "Now Stop," because we totally hit your fundraiser goal.
I'm so grateful for everyone that you've been willing to help us. The money, instead of we raised the money for the shed. Thank you. It means the world. The money goes to vet bills. It goes to these new facilities. It goes to food. It goes to transportation costs. There's still a lot of money that we spend to keep the foundation running, but you guys just really came through and raised the money for the shed, and we're so grateful for that.
And Jessica asked, you both have birthdays in December. See, everybody's in about your shared birthday here.
Oh,
we do.
We do. I'm December 9th, which was last Thursday.
He's a week ahead of me.
And she's December 16th, which is today.
In a couple of years.
And give or take a century or two.
A century or two,
2 years and maybe a century.
Yeah. So yes,
we pick on you.
So yes, we our birthdays are both in December.
Okay. Lauren says, oops. Oh yeah, please give Cody a kiss for me, Mary Posmus and Feathermoss.
Mary Posmus and Feathermoss. Cody, wake up. Come over here. Come over here. Come here. Come on. Come on. Up. Atta boy. He was sleeping on the couch. He says we got boring.
Yeah.
Oh, Cody, that's a good boy.
Yeah, he's a good kid.
Got
the world's most spoiled dog.
All kinds of birthday greetings coming in. Happy birthday, beautiful soul, and fellow Sag. How do you say that for short for Sagittarius, right? So
yes,
yeah. Sag. Fellow Sag doesn't sound very good. Says thank you for being incredibly awesome and bringing more incredible education on these magical creatures.
Oh, you're very, very welcome, and it's our, it's always been my privilege to work with these animals and to spend time educating people about them.
Says, I hear noises outside. I've got to tell you all about it.
RDS says, studying for the test. Love what you do. Thank you. Is that a falconry test, I wonder?
Yeah, that would be the falconry test.
Betcha. Whereabouts does he live?
I don't know what state he lives in, but really good luck. I tell everybody, the test it's a government test, which means it is here, especially here in Utah. The test itself is badly written, and so a lot of falconers fail the test the first time, and when they start to understand kind of the mindset on how they're asking the questions, then they pass it easily the second time. So don't be discouraged if you don't pass it the first time.
Grandma C says, I wanted to donate tonight, and when I saw that I could not, I knew it was because you are good, humble people.
Well, thank you. Yeah, like I said, we didn't want to be this commercialize this. We just wanted to visit with you guys and say thank you.
So what do you think, what's your take now on the roadrunners that you raised? What are the odds that they're anywhere near each other still?
The habitats, is great habitat for them.
They don't usually migrate.
Yeah, they don't usually go terribly far. So I bet they're still within a mile or two of each other. But we have no way of knowing.
Okay, and RDS says thank you and happy birthday.
Thank you, RDS. We appreciate it.
So any last Helen stories to tell us? How did Heather come into this? Heather, Helen?
Yeah.
That's okay.
Well, we named her Helen for some very good reasons. She's mostly blind, and the thought that came to mind was Helen Keller, who was blind and deaf, but was an amazing ambassador for the disabled. And our little Helen here is mostly blind, but she's an amazing ambassador for wildlife, and so that's kind of how she got her name. Also, it's really very much a favorite name of mine because if you've read my book, then it's a little bit clearer.
As I was going to say, let me turn off the tree lights.
Yeah, if you've read my book, Healer of Angels, I talk about my grandmother, and her name was Helen, and our granddaughter, who lives here in Utah in the Enoch area, is also Helen. So we have a great fondness for the name Helen.
Any parting words before we end for the night?
Well, just mostly, I really don't have the words to explain how much all of you have meant to me. Your friendship, your comments, your letters, your emails, your donations, your gifts, and not only personal gifts but gifts for the foundation.
Sometimes just your kind words mean so much to us.
They do. There have been many times working on this project that I've become depressed because it's been so hard and it's taken so long. And it seems like the times when I'm really feeling it and feeling down, one of you will pop me an email just to say hi and say how much you appreciate the work we do. And that just really means a lot to me. And so to all of you, you mean the world. You're dear friends. Thank you. And we'll keep you guys informed as to how the rescue facilities are coming and what's new and exciting in our little world. And I hope to someday all of our dear friends, around the world, I would love someday to show up in your country and knock on your door and say, hi, thank you. If you can point out a couple of good places to go look for critters, I'd love to go.
Take some pictures.
But we gotta buy you your jet first, and you can just go for a day trip to any country in the world, right? It would be a spaceship.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, I got a pilot's license. Get me a corporate jet that can be flown by one person. That would be very cool. But I'm afraid even
That's
with
not our lifestyle.
No, even with my pilot's license, I had to sell my airplane because we just couldn't afford it. It's so very expensive. But But I got my
Well,
pilot's license, which was the goal anyway.
yeah, you got your pilot's license. You got to fly.
Yes.
He says there's a lot going on, so we just got to start teaching some younger people how to do what you do.
Yes, we do.
Going to find some people with the right qualities, the right knack. You're unusual.
Yeah, I have a bit of an odd skill set, that's for sure. So thank you, everyone. Like I said, I don't.
Thanks for putting up with us.
Yes, thank you for. I know these videos are, they're not, high production kinds of stuff. It's just us, and it's just real, and we're grateful that you want to hang out with us. Thank you.
Okay, all good?
I'm good.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.